What's up, guys? This is Samuel from the Yes to Life show, and today I'm gonna recap my experience of having 4 weeks no complaining. Which isn't entirely true, because it's not that you don't complain at all, but the challenge of no complaining is about trying to not complain, being aware whenever you complain, and when you see it, just change the focus on it. So I did a video in week 1, week 2, week 3 about it. I felt quite much positivity in the first weeks, where you become aware of the complaints and you kind of let go of them. I got back in week 3 in my head to complain a lot, with my colleagues to complain a lot. And I think it's a situation you all know somehow, right? Like maybe you're at university and there's an exam coming up and you're like, oh my god, there's so much stuff to do for my exams, I don't have any time. Maybe you're working and you have to work so much. And like in your head you're like, oh my god, I don't want to work. And you tell about it to your colleagues, to your friends, to your family. Maybe you're ill, maybe you have a sickness, and then you're like, oh shit, my throat hurts, my stomach hurts, everything hurts. And it's kind of this describing situations that happen to you in a way that you don't like, right? So the one key takeaway I kind of realized from the whole no complaining thing is that once you start to not complain, you take power back to you. Because whenever you complain, you give power away. You are like a victim, right? I complain about something bad happening to me, I'm the victim here. And if you don't complain about it, let's say, I don't know, I got in a car accident, which is a bad thing to happen. I hope it doesn't happen to anybody, but I got in a car accident, shit, why does this happen to me? It's so bad. You're the victim of like all the circumstances coming through. If you don't complain about it, maybe you take some responsibility in it, maybe you kind of just acknowledge, shit, a car accident happened, I'm glad I'm still alive, I'm still healthy, I'm glad that nobody else got hurt, I'm glad about whatever, right? You just shift the focus, and by doing that, what you do is you take power back to you. You don't give it to all the external things, but you take it back to yourself. And this is kind of the main thing I got out of the whole no complaining thing, because it puts you in power of the situation every time. And I just want to share a couple of key takeaways that I got from the whole no complaining thing. Well, first of all, you become very aware of every time you complain and of every time somebody else around you complains as well. So this kind of means you sit in your office, an email pops in from a client who told you, we don't want to meet you, we don't want to keep working with you, something. The first reaction would be like turning to my colleague and be like, look at the blah blah blah, saying something negative about it, right? Once you have the no complaint awareness, you see the email, you're like, oh shit, I'm about to complain, and at that moment you don't do it. You don't say anything to him, and you don't keep on spinning that thought. Maybe you can even like turn it into something better, like, okay, maybe it's good that we didn't get this client, so now we can focus on better clients in the future, right? It's just like a changing of how you see it, and you become very aware of it, of when you complain, of when everybody else complains around you. And what that does in a second thing is that you change the way you react to them, because you don't longer just give in to them and the complaint is coming and you just go with it, but you see, hey, there's a complaint, I see it, I realize it, and now I'm going to change the way I would just react to it, right? So as I said earlier, instead of actually complaining about the bad weather or something, you just accept it and you make the best out of it. And you try in every situation that seems challenging to you to make the best out of it. And what this does in turn is like, it gives you more positive energy overall. I think this is kind of the third point that I noted down, is that you become more positive in your daily life. You don't give into so much negativity. Whenever you see somebody complaining next to you and you don't follow him in the whole complaining thing, but be like, okay, let him do his stuff. I'm not gonna be part of this. I'm just gonna be here. I'm gonna keep my good vibe. And as you go through it, you will see a pattern of positivity that you keep yourself in, right? Because you will less and less have these small negative thoughts coming up and giving into them. And then what as a fourth thing will happen is that people around you will notice. Because, well, first it's an internal thing, it's a certain way of how you react to others, and then the next step, people will notice that you're not complaining that much anymore, and that you're kind of having good vibes instead of bad vibes. And just think about it, it's a really big thing. We as humans, we're always drawn to some higher level energy. This comes kind of like to an energy point I was talking about. But if you think about energy, somebody who's very dense, sad, something is like a very negative energy, and people usually want to go away from that. Whereas you see somebody who's super happy and smiley, optimistic, and he's like cheerful to everybody, and you're like, oh damn, this guy is nice, I want to be around this, right? So negative energy versus positive energy. And what then happens is then people notice that you turn more on the positive side, and people are more drawn to that, because that's what people are usually drawn to. You yourself are drawn to it. I myself am drawn to it, and you become the source of energy that somebody is going after for. Now the thing is that even after 4 weeks, it's not that I never complain. It still comes up. I sometimes am not aware of it. So I think the important thing is that just keep practicing it, not for 30 days, but just for every time. Just make it a reinforcing, self-sustaining circle where you just get better at it, get more positive, and people will notice better, and like everything just turns. It's a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. 30 days are a good way to start, but not keep it up. This is what I'm trying to keep up. I think the last thing I want to point out here is that you have to be consistent with it. You have to stick to it. It's something you have to learn, right? It's something you have to really focus on for a longer time to make it part of you. It's not that you just one day to the other make a switch and suddenly there's no complaint inside of you and you're never having any bad thought about it anymore, but it's a constant learning experience that you have to go through. So keep practicing about it. This is what I'm gonna do. I really want to keep focus on it, no complaining, doing the best with every situation that I encounter, and through that being like a positive stronghold for the people around me. Some challenges I want to share with you before I end the video is that, well, there is sometimes a lack of awareness in situations. You just don't realize that you're bitching about the person over there who, I don't know, did something stupid, without going into any details. And the second big thing is that complaints start very small. They don't have to be huge. It's like, oh my god, the whole world is terrible, everything is shit. It can start really like small, like I didn't like the way this food tastes. It's bad food, something like this, right? And it's kind of like just look out for it. Like there's these small elements of negative thinking and complaining everywhere around us, and they're so subtle. Like if you are not really aware of them and you really focus on seeing when they arise, they just pop up here and there, and maybe they get bigger and bigger, and then at some point they're so big that, oh yeah, here's a complaint, but it came from a very small start. Sometimes, as an example, you wake up in the morning and maybe you're tired, and the first thought is like, oh, I feel so tired, I would love to sleep, I don't want to go to work. It's very small there, right? But like if you keep that spinning, like I don't want to go to work, and now it's even cold outside because it's winter, there's no sunlight, I'm gonna be the office whole day, I cannot go back and relax until the evening. See how it keeps spinning, and like suddenly you're like into this chain of complaining. And it all started with the very small complaint at the bottom. So I think the better you become at identifying the small complaints, the better you become at never even getting to the big complaints, right? So just keep focusing on this. I will keep focusing on it. And again, I challenge every one of you to do the no complaining challenge, not only as a challenge, but as a start to change the way of life that you live, in the way you interact with people, and in the way that you form thoughts and words, and how you give energy to everybody around you. So I hope you found this interesting, guys. There's some more challenges coming up as always, so stay tuned to the channel and see you next time. Ciao.